Are live.
Let's see. All messages. So.
I've also come to realize that we should actually figure out a name for this thing that we do.
We should.
Actually, you know what? Maybe we can do that. Maybe we'll open up a
She's run
poll.
away.
Of course. Maybe
That's
we'll
not
open
a
up a
good idea.
poll.
This will end up being Chatty McChatface.
No, not now during it, but after. Recommendations for what Al and Chaylo should call this thing.
Yeah. He's here. Okay. See what else do I got? Let's see. I got this one. It hasn't come out of the box yet.
That thing looks so much better than the original. Yes.
I do not want to talk about how long it took me to find this. I was sure that I had one, that I'd picked one up for no other reason than it was in my colors, but for the life of me, I could not find the thing. I thought maybe I'd never even taken it out of the box because it wouldn't have surprised me, but I searched in all of my stuff in boxes, all of my stuff in bins. I finally found it in a trunk it had no business being in, but it was one of those, there's only one place left it could possibly be, and that is this trunk, and then it was in there. So, I will.
You got to get the replacement spring that fixes it. Derek's got a bunch of them. I'll grab a couple.
I've got the replacement spring, and apparently there is also a 3D printable cylinder designed by a local up here in the Pacific Northwest that makes it so that you can more easily load it without taking the cylinder out, and fixes the rotation issue.
Yes.
Oh, we got hello, people.
What's shaking, everybody?
Yes. So that that will be the one of the major discussions for today, the World Foam Alliance. Why would I?
Absolutely. I think we're gonna wait just a little bit till we get some more people in here before we talk about it.
Yeah. I once heard Captain Xavier wrestled 6 wild boar and a beaver naked and won. Well, you can't wrestle beavers while clothed. That's just unsportsmanlike. What?
Wait, I guess that's the other thing. You can find that out when and if Captain Xavier finally launches his OnlyFans page. That footage from that event will be on that if it is ever launched.
Definitely. Also, lots of footage of me bending over picking up darts on the range. Lots of it.
That's the entry tier.
Yeah. Yes, Swamp Cat is here. She is here on the bench, just relaxing because it's very warm, but she likes hanging out with me, so. Tips on lefty Nerf gear. If you're left-handed, get yourself some.
Yep.
Not sure what you're looking for there. 3D printed solid, all of his stuff is righty-lefty. There are some universal holsters that'll fit a huge variety of Nerf blasters that are also coming both left and right. Some blasters are more ambidextrous than others, but a lot of the ones nowadays they're getting a lot better at making it left-handed friendly.
Absolutely. Have you seen that you can print for the Outlaw, you can actually print a holster, lefty or righty?
Yeah, I haven't been to the website for a couple of days. Last time I was there, it hadn't actually gone live yet. It was on the site, but there was no put in cart button. Hopefully there's a put in cart button, because I would like to print them we've got a Nerf war this weekend at Borst, and I'd like to bring it and maybe even plink with it. So I'm going to try printing it in TPU and see if that is better than printing it in PLA.
Probably. My guess is yes.
Cat objects to all the stuff on the table. She is trying to lounge, and there are blasters everywhere.
Clearly, she needs more attention.
Captain and the Geek. Wednesday ramblings with the Captain and the Geek.
Maybe we should come up with some kind of extraordinary ship name and we'll call
Yeah,
it
there we
like something ship.
The HMS Foam Flinger sets sail.
Yes. And it's a 3-hour tour. Uh-oh,
Swamp
3-hour
Cat
tour.
tactical gear. Should I get a modular strife? Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, they're just like every other strife, but in different colors. I think I've got one in box up in the attic.
I think I'm about 27 in box in my basement.
Swamp Kitty tactical patch. Well, she's a black cat with yellow eyes. You can get black cat with yellow eyes. Actually, you know what? I wonder if I still have that patch. Where would that patch be if I still had it? Ah. Except the eyes are white. I could paint it. What? Is this you? Is this you, Miss Madam? Does this resemble you?
Here's one. It's Captain and the Geek. Captain and the Geek. One is a genius, the other is insane.
Oh, there we go.
The good news about that is that
I understood that reference. Which one? Which one's the crazy one? Swamp Cat plushie with the X logo on it. Yeah, there we go. Someone asked about Swamp Cat tactical gear. I don't think she would like that much at all. She is currently being a fiend, rolling around in cut down Megadart detritus. 3 styles of various color. I think I have all of the colors now, including the CQB European release.
Oh, wow.
Madam, do not eat the super glue.
I'm not sure how many colors there are. No.
5
All right.
6.
We have 32 people. We're about 7 minutes in. Shall we make the announcement about it now? That way, whoever watches it after, they don't have to fast forward to like minute 57 to hear about what we talk about.
Plan. So, now.
So then,
Madam, do not eat my earbuds. Come back here, you fiend.
all right. While you're doing earbuds, I will say it. So, basically, what most of you probably been seeing on various social media platforms is something that we're calling the World Foam Alliance. The World Foam Alliance is actually the brainchild of one Derek from Dart Zone. Some of you have probably met him at various events. He's been at this since January, and actually what caused the birth of this was his own experience of the Dart Zone, and he has the lashes and everything else. One of the most common questions he gets from people is, "Hi, I'd love to join a community. Are there groups local to me?" And always his answer is, you have to go on Facebook, Instagram, or somewhere else, and like many of you already know, go on these mass explorations to find somebody or some kind of groups local to you. As a result of it, he has decided to create a centralized place, and it is a website. It is worldfoamalliance.org, where basically it is going to be a place where you can actually go online, find out if there are communities in your area, where they are nationally. But even let's say you're in an area where you don't have a group, but because everyone has registered, you have found out there are 50 other people within a 20-mile radius of my house that would love to get organized battles going, but no one has done anything. So this will actually be a function where you can come into contact with other people. More so on that as well, there are going to be tools instituted for areas where you have a lot of players, but let's say you're having no groups or you're having challenges raising groups. There will also be actual tools available on the website for you to help create, fund, and organize a community. Not to get into too much detail yet because there's a lot, but it's going to be like even provide options of where you're able to, through the Foam Alliance, provide tickets to people, provide raffles, and even provide like possible funding. Ultimately, with this being a centralized location, it is not a money grab. There is no catch. It doesn't cost you anything to register. We are not trying to grab your information and sell to people. Yeah, no, that's not what we're doing. But by having you register, we kind of need to know where you are and if you want to play, because otherwise, how the hell are we going to be able to tell you there's other people in your area that want to play with you? Also, ultimately, by being able to create this kind of centralized location, obviously for the ease of you being able to go to the one place and find out where everything is, but also the more people we have, and when you look at statistics, a good example someone had told me is I think that last year there was, what, 70 million dart blasters sold in the United States or globally? 70 million blasters. I'm sure there are people like myself and the captain who have bought way too many, and many of you on your own, but there is definitely a huge number of people that own dart blasters and want to play with them. So by having and collecting that large community, suddenly we open ourselves up to sponsorships, where suddenly major corporations and companies that sit there and realize, holy cow, you have how many people part of this, will happily then throw things at you and sponsor different events and provide different things at discounts and sometimes just for free. Ultimately, we would love to create an event every year, the World Foam Alliance, like a giant tournament, giant HVZ, or something like a huge weekend when you have a huge base. So you can only imagine like the possibilities stretching from this. As I ramble.
Yeah. And I've said this has been tried before, and this is the first time I think it actually has a chance of succeeding because there are actual professionals involved who don't have deep ulterior motives. And the influencers that they've brought on so far, like myself, Al the Geek, Dart Sweep, Maritime Foam, also folks that I feel are in it for the right reasons and really want to help the community grow. Because it's something I've lamented on. It's something we considered, we were working towards trying to do back in the old auxiliary days. Creating some kind of a central repository, a map of clubs, calendars of events, because there didn't exist anything quite like that, or if there was, the data was always out of date because there was nobody who was actually responsible for keeping it up to date. And the goal here, a lot of that would be crowdsourced, is the club leaders would register their club as this is our club, this is our location, here are when our events are. And that would then be put into the database so that if somebody comes along and searches, is there a club near me? It would pop up. Yes, there's a club. Yes, there are events. Same thing would be true of like HVZ clubs. At one point, there were 700 different HVZ clubs on campuses around the U.S., but there was never a central repository of which ones are doing public events. A lot of them, even though they're small events, like, yeah, UMBC is huge. PSU was huge. When End War goes to a campus, it's big. But a lot of even smaller ones will allow non-students to play, but nobody knows about it. I've been to a couple here in the Pacific Northwest where it's a small campus. They had a small club, but they did a small invitational. Anyone could come and play, and we went, and it was fun. But I only knew about that because somebody reached out to me or reached out to someone else, or we had someone in our club who went to that school or whatever. It would be very difficult for me to, right now you'd have to search campuses, look and see if they've got an official registered club, and see if you can find the contact information for the person in charge and reach out to them as some weirdo wanting to come play with the college kids. This way we would know that this club is open for public play. And yeah, there's so many resources that this will potentially make available to people, both people wanting to start a club. How do I start a club? What do I need? What game modes can I do on a budget? These are all things that we're looking at putting through this, because I've done like game theory and how to start a Nerf club, but I got 10,000 views, whereas with the potential of this, we have the potential to be reaching tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people. And as you said, 70 million Dart Blasters sold last year worldwide. It's the second largest toy in the world after Lego. If you go to any big box store, the two big aisles are the Lego aisle and the Dart aisle, whether it's Nerf or Dart Zone or Buzzbee or whatever now. There's a lot more variety than there used to be. Those are the two biggest things, because those are the two biggest selling toys in the world. And it's mostly people who have a Dart Blaster in their garage and have no idea that there may in fact be 1,000 people in their town that would love to play, but there's nobody organizing it, and they don't know how to start it. They don't know how to get connected. The auxiliary was able to create numerous clubs were born through the auxiliary because they realized, wait, there's 10 people in Kansas City that want a Nerf. Well, let's start a club. And now Kansas City Nerf Club is a thing. I don't know if they actually formed through us, but as an example. I know there were ones that people were able to connect because there was a place for them to connect. Because the auxiliary did that. We had the thing of these are, give us your vague location. You don't need to give us your mailing address, obviously, but city, state, even, And this has the potential to do that much more efficiently than we were able to do and to reach a lot more people. Because if they are able to do major sponsorships, then we had the advertising power of Dart Zone, of maybe even Hasbro, of any other major sponsors, major influencers that might be interested. That hey, yeah, my influencing stuff isn't about Nerf, but I love Nerf as much as anybody. I joined the Nerf, the foam World Foam Alliance. Gonna have to get used to saying that. Because if they mention it, yeah, worldfoamalliance.org, they have it on their box, they have it on their website, they have it in an ad, that could be absolutely huge. Yeah, Dwarf Mamba is, hey, we're being we're being spied on by a certain Derek Sykes. Better watch. What should we do? Yeah, toe the line, quick, say nice things. Yeah, I think it has huge potential for our hobby. And the neat thing about the Nerf hobby is how varied it is, because you've got Nerf, everything from plinking in your living room to the competitive stuff, to the big HVZs, to the small HVZs, to it's used in a lot of LARP, it's used in public Nerf wars, it's used in private Nerf wars, it's and all of that, and getting that all connected and grown, especially things like the competitive tournament. There are huge airsoft tournaments, there's huge paintball tournaments. We're trying to get bigger and bigger Nerf tournaments, and this is another way that we can grow that. That's starting to get going. The Foam Pro Tour, the BTA. We've got 2 different clubs here in the Pacific Northwest now: the Oregon Foam Flingers League and the Washington Foam Flingers League. Awful and Waffle. We want to be able to do more with that as well. Yeah, I think it has huge potential.
Basically, also just to touch upon it, it's so most likely, for example, there's also going to be a content side where we're going to be providing different resources in terms of things that are going on in the community in general. But for one example that we can most likely confirm is that what the captain and I are doing right now, and whatever it is we ultimately end up calling it, we will probably switch over to the World Foam Alliance channel. So that way, it's also kind of helping drive that awareness that way as well. Is that we are going to opt for all things foam flinging, but at the same time, we are not going to be the. So I think a great example is what the Maryland Foam Alliance has happening in Maryland. They have 3 groups organized, and they are becoming quite their own self-sufficient entity, and they're growing large. So with the World Foam Alliance coming in, it is in no way going to replace what they're doing, because what they're doing is awesome. If anything, we will obviously be like another venue for them, especially if you're in Maryland, who it's like, all right, through the World Foam Alliance, you can push them over to the Maryland Foam Alliance. It's more so for the clubs or groups that don't have that experience. And again, probably because it's in my backyard and I'm part of it, the Maryland Foam Alliance is amazing how they run it, and they're good. And if anything, we'll just drive toolboxes available. That portion will be launching, I do believe, in September, where we utilize the different tools for being able to sell, for being able to fun things. So it's all basic tools and free. And again, a lot of this is leveraging on the fact of how big we were hoping to make this, and it's just access to everybody. So again, this is not going to cost you money. Also, don't get old or have a brain tumor. Excuse.
Yeah.
But what?
Go ahead.
Well, back to the group. So once someone had made the comment of what about just modding communities? Even if it's not the best thing about this is not has to be gameplay community. You can still use it to find people, set up groups and organizations, and ultimately, if you decide that you're all going to meet, I don't know, 12 times a year, but 8 of those 12 is going to be just for modding parties and stuff like that. Yeah, we're not going to tell you you can't do that. That's awesome. The whole point of it is being able to find you and connect you. And then also at the same time, by leveraging how many people we're able to get onto our website, and the larger we grow, it just gives us more power to therefore find the major companies that will give us the things and tools to help grow the hobby and help you in terms of what it is you're looking for from the hobby or what you want to.
Yeah, because as we've noted, Nerf is, or foam flinging in general, is huge. It is a huge, huge industry, but it's so completely decentralized at this point that it's not growing. You know, people aren't connected the way that they should be. Like I said, there's probably not a house in my town of 300 people that doesn't have at least one Nerf blaster in it. But we don't have, citywide events where we all get together and play Nerf because nobody thinks about it. Nobody organizes it. You think about towns that have 1 million people. The Seattle-Tacoma area, our Panic, our club covers Seattle, Vancouver, Portland, and Olympia. That's millions and millions of people. And we will get 80 people at an event. And I'm sure if, all 6 million people in our area knew about it, we'd probably have too many people to even be able to function. But we managed to get to it as big as we did with no advertising. It was all word of mouth or people, watching my YouTube channel realizing, wait, I'm in the Seattle area. What's Panic? Googling Panic. But the problem is if you Googled Seattle Nerf Club, you're not going to find anything. If you searched Vancouver Nerf Club, you're probably not going to find anything. You have to look for the Pacific Northwest Nerf Club. Well, no one's going to think to Google that. But if there was a central repository, you could just go in and go Nerf Club in Seattle, or even a map that you could click on, and it would show you all the clubs in that area. That would make it so much easier for people to find out about it. And at that point, we would probably grow to a point where we'd need to break into multiple clubs in the Northwest instead of one, and have multiple events happening on the same day in different locations because people you just can't go to everywhere. There just isn't enough time. But there's so much resource that are not being taken advantage of. So many people that would love to be a part of this, but they simply don't know about it because we are our side of the hobby, the public Nerf wars and the modding and all of that is a very small subset of the overall foam flinging community. And this is an effort to make the overall more aware that we exist. Because it's weird that, Hasbro doesn't. There's no, as far as I've ever seen, there's no effort by Hasbro to connect Nerfers to other Nerfers to create Nerf communities. So that you're selling a toy, but no one really has somewhere to go and play with it in the in the real fun way that we do. And so that's kind of the goal here, is to get more of the people that are interested in being able to shoot foam at each other aware that this is happening, because that's the biggest thing. Most people aren't aware. They don't know that there's a club in their town, has been for years. Because we are atrocious at advertising. We are absolutely abysmal at it. None of the clubs that I've ever heard of really have a true advertising campaign, because real advertising campaigns are very expensive. How do you get a radio ad? How do you get a TV ad? You can put something on YouTube, but only the people that already know about it are going to find it. You have to have someone who's putting in the effort or has the means or has the money to push the advertising to people that wouldn't already be seeing it. And that's something that this, again, has the potential to do, because, again, we've got people involved that are from outside of our community that have huge followings, that can connect to people that, well, it may not be their primary hobby. They probably have a Nerf blaster because pretty much everybody does.
Absolutely. Oh, two things before they escape my mind, if you don't mind, Cap.
Yeah, go.
The first thing is also, when we grow, to grow this as big as it is, here's the one thing that we are all actually on the same page about, and that is that we will not be at the mercy of a single advertiser. Meaning, not 6 months from now, suddenly we become Hasbro's World Foam Alliance and therefore have to do everything Hasbro tell us. No. This is the whole point of this. Doing what the community needs, what the community wants, and not what some major provider tells us what we're going to do. So by growing this big, then they are at our mercy, because then to access our people and to provide our people, you're going to give us what we want and not us succumbing to what you're telling us that we got to give those people to them to give us, if that makes any sense at all. Because that is also what we started from the beginning. Second thing is also involved, and if you notice in the chat, if you see anything from Derek Sykes, Dart Sweep, they're also founding members of this, actually the bigger ones. And two other things that they're going to try to introduce into the actual World Foam Alliance is also the ability to create leagues, but then also a ranking system. And the ranking system will be available where we're still hammering out details, and we're aware that some people are going to fudge and lie about it and stuff like that. But we are hammering out a system to make sure it's fair, so you can actually register as a player and have stats on it, where it's a fun way to know that different competitions are different players and in terms of your ranking. And again, this is not to make it like a, look at me, I'm cooler than you are. Yeah, that is not why we're doing this. It's also to introduce the fact that it is becoming, in many aspects, also much more competitive, like the foam and the 5-on-5 tournaments. So it would be nice to help drive that interest to a ranking system. It's not a, we're going to make you like, oh, look at you, you're the greatest thing ever, and we got to listen to you. No. It's just making it competitive, fair, and fun as well.
Yeah, and a lot of it's more, rather than, ranking as in, well, you've got this rank, so you can do these things. It's just a matter of, this is the experience this person has. They've been to this many HVZs, they've been to this many tournaments. It's just a merit system as opposed to a, well, because you've been to this many, now you get access to this thing that other people don't have access to. Yeah, it's the competitive side is something that is I'm very interested in, not so much in participating. I used to be incredibly competitive in my 20s, and I kind of burned myself out on a lot of it. But I know that people enjoy it. I like watching it. I like helping run it. I like the tinkering that comes from trying to perfect your blaster, and then the training that comes with trying to actually organize a team and have teamwork that's based around skill sets and blaster types and all of that. And that's just a wonderful part of the hobby that I enjoy seeing. And it, again, is largely underutilized. Like I said, we finally got our competitive leagues going here in the Pacific Northwest, though it's all still very, very new and very, very informal. We haven't been like creating teams that are actually competing against each other. It's more we're using the competitive gameplay style that you see at Foam Pro Tour or the Blaster Tag Association, but the teams are just, we need 3 people on this side, 3 people on this side, go! So it's more like practice or drill, with the intention of eventually we would send a team to a Blaster Tag Association tournament or a Foam Pro Tour or a Dart Zone tournament or a WFA tournament. That one day there will hopefully be WFA tournaments that have qualifiers around the country, that the various competitive clubs, whatever your club is, whatever your team is, you can partake in, this tournament that'll be put on, and then eventually you'll get sent to the big fancy one that's held somewhere else. That competitive side is, the more sports size as opposed to the going to a city park and just flinging foam at each other. That has a certain amount of, credibility, professionalism. I'm not sure what word to go with, but it brings it more on the scale of like paintball or airsoft tournaments. But the thing about Nerf is the entry price can be much, much lower. The price of paintball, the price of airsoft is generally much higher than the price of picking up a Nerf blaster at Walmart and going to the park. And the thing is, we can go to the park. You can't paintball in the park. You can't airsoft in the park. You have to have dedicated arenas for those. We don't need dedicated arenas for Nerf. We have some. I've built one in my backyard, and it's awesome. But we do our monthly Nerf war at a public park every month. And we don't have to charge anybody because the venue is free. And that's an advantage that Nerf has that paintball and airsoft don't, but that isn't being taken advantage of. There are lots of people that would love to do airsoft or paintball but can't afford it, or it isn't available in their area because you have to have massive infrastructure, expensive infrastructure that you don't need for Nerf. And it could be real cheap starting out if you can get everything you would need to run a Nerf war at a Dollar Tree, as far as cones and flags and MacGuffins and whatnot. You can get fancier stuff, and you can set up really nice stuff, getting cones and goals and electronic devices for scoring, and you can get into all of that, but you don't have to. You can start out for a couple of bucks and get a Nerf war going, and then it just grows from there. And that's another one of the resources that we would be providing is how do you start? How do you get started? What do you need? What's the cheapest option? What are the more expensive options? What, start here and upgrade to here. It's all about helping the community grow, because the more people we have to play with, the more fun we're going to have. The more big events that are going on, the more big events you get to go to. The more people we have, the more ingenuity we're going to see, the more inventiveness, the newer stuff. We're going to get engineers that have never thought about building a Nerf blaster that suddenly find out, oh, this is a thing I can tinker with. That sounds like fun. I'm going to do it.
Just in general, more opportunities all
and that's
around.
The thing.
Yeah,
that's the other beautiful thing about, in general, the Nerf community. It's not 100%, but the vast majority of the people I've met through Nerf are cool people. They know that this is a silly hobby. They know that they are being ridiculous, and they don't care. And that is powerful. Those are fun people to hang around with. I have seen people who take it too seriously. I've been accused of taking it too seriously. It's like I take certain aspects of the hobby that I do very seriously. But I don't take myself seriously. I know what I am and how ridiculous I'm being. But that doesn't mean I can't take the game seriously and really get into it and really get everything out of it that I can and bring as many people along as want to. But I don't demand that level of lunacy from anybody or expect it. And it's what I like about the hobby. It's the silliness. I like that little kids can play. We got tiny children who play at Borst. And the way we run our games, they can still have as much fun as everybody else.
Absolutely. So is everyone hearing us okay?
Well, solar flares. I'm sure it's a bit laggy.
So yeah, it is and again, it is going to be a nonprofit. There's going to be opportunities. It's finally kind of organizing us and the whole community into what it should be. Like I just did Otakon this past weekend, and obviously because I set my booth and sell all my stuff. But the beautiful thing is that Dart Sweep was with me, and he sets up also in my booth as well, representing the Maryland Foam Alliance. And because a lot of our the cons I do are local to our group, and everyone asks the same question. Most people, they have no idea that these organized events happen. So most of the con, we're either telling them about how I paint and modify things, they can buy it, or they're talking to Andrew over there about Maryland Foam Alliance and all these people. And some of them, they live like 10 minutes away from all the various sites, and they have no idea this is happening. And so I feel this year, I've definitely been able to push a lot of local people to our community, and that's just through a con. Never mind when you can actually just say, hey, go to worldfoamalliance.org, enter in your information, you'll find everything you need. And the idea being it's going to be user-friendly. It's don't go scouring Facebook, don't go scouring Instagram. Now, we do have everything on all the socials, but it's not to create that social media presence. It's basically putting out the feelers and the funnels to be able to push you back to the actual website so you can find it. Also, we are going to be doing a content side as well. And so as Captain has already said, he's going to have a segment series on it. And actually, you're all going to find this very surprising, but it may involve him on a certain private field firing certain things at various targets. And it is called, what is it called again?
We were going for on the range, or just the range. Yours is the forge, so I think mine should be the range.
So Captain's going to have the range, and it's going to be where obviously what he does now as well, but more so for the Foam Alliance, because we've talked about it. You can't go out and buy every single blaster. You don't always have access. I don't even own every single blaster, and so it is a great venue to actually see how it performs, what it does, and therefore you can decide for yourself, wow, this is cool, I want to get it, or oh my Lord, no, I am not getting that at all. Myself, mine's going to be the Forge, and the Forge is going to be, as you can probably imagine, because some of you may wonder, how does he do that? Why does he do that? How does it happen? So it'll be segments in terms of different things I make, how I make it, tips and tricks on terms of how to painting, how to combine, how to make big, ridiculous barrels if you don't have a 3D printer, and then also like master keys, which apparently I make a few of. Then some of the other options we're going to have is going to be Sophie Lightning is going to be part of it as well. It's going to be the Lightning Hour with Sophie Lightning. If y'all don't know who she is, I shouldn't have to explain that. Then we're also going to have Maritime Foam. He's going to be on it as well. And actually, parts of it we may be doing where it's kind of like his Friday Night Foam, where he does interviews with people. We're also going to have, who am I missing there? Oh, Dart Sweep, Andrew, who is the ringleader for all this and try to wrangle us all and organize us as well. But you'll see a lot of his stuff as well on it. And then also there's going to be, I can't remember the name, was it Hooch and, do you remember the name of it, Captain?
Hammer and Hooch?
Yes, Hammer and Hooch, where it's going to be almost like a Mythbuster style where they're going to mod and eventually probably blow up blasters, which will be fun.
That will be fascinating.
It will be. But then also at the same time, we're going to provide venues where we're going to provide opportunities for different people in the hobby. They may have segments or series or something like that. Basically, providing, again, a centralized content, not to trump any other social medias or say, like, this is where you got to go. But again, if we got everybody here and they find you here, then they can actually go out and find whatever it is you do, whatever social media platform and how you do it to find you there as well. So again, it's trying to bring
collaborations.
Correct. And trying to bring like everything about cool in the one place that you can find it all.
Yeah, and as to expand on something you mentioned earlier, the goal here isn't to standardize the hobby. It's not a goal to try to make sure that everyone everywhere is playing by the same rules or everywhere is using the same standards. It isn't about that. There isn't going to be this is how you have to run your Nerf events if you want to be part of this. It's connecting people. Now, it might try to standardize tournament play, because if it's going to run a tournament, there is going to be a standard play there. But like the size of your field, the amount of cover you have on your field at your club, you still have every right to do that the way you do it. Just be aware that if you do then go to a WFA tournament, there will be a standard they will be holding, but it's not going to try to tell you, what your respawn times have to be, what version of capture the flag you have to play, what your FPS settings have to be. It's not about that. It's not trying to become the authority within the hobby. It's meant to be a hub for the hobby, and that is something we've been lacking. The fact that every single club I've ever been to, every different HVZ I've ever been to, they've all been slightly different. I find that to be one of the best things about the hobby, because it's always something new. It's always something interesting. It's a little difference here, a little difference. One club does their zombie tank this way. The other one does a zombie tank this way. One group makes their cover this big. One group makes it this big. One has this rule for shields, that rule for shields. Different variants on capture the flag, plant the flag, VIP, just because the way we did it didn't work for them because they didn't have the same terrain, or they didn't have the same resources, or they didn't have the same number of people, or they just had a slightly different culture in the way they wanted to play. And that's one of the beautiful things about it. And that's actually something that we want to emphasize through here. Is one of the things we were talking about was having a whole segment on here's all the different variants of capture the flag that we've managed to track down from all these different clubs. Here, let's take a look at them. Well, so they do it this way. There's one flag and you're fighting over it. There's two flags and you're both fighting over it. You're trying to get the flag to your base. You're trying to get your flag to their base. There's a lot of different ways you could do that. And again, that makes starting a club easier because you have variations. Which one of those will actually work for you in your environment? If you've got a really asymmetric field, there are game modes that work better on an asymmetric field as opposed to a symmetrical field. Little things like that. So it's not trying to tell you how to do it. It's just helping you come up with the way you want to do it.
Because we want to maintain that diversity.
A database of game types, a database which does exist. There is already the game mode repository. That would be something that would either be referenced or potentially rolled in. Maybe we'll bring them in and have them. All right, you're responsible for this part of this thing. Hunt the people down, get the data. Because that's one of the things that I think is going to be the hardest, is keeping the information up to date. Because things change constantly. Clubs change names, clubs fizzle out, new clubs get formed, leadership changes, especially with HVZs, there's basically a complete turnover of the entire HVZ club every 4 years because they're on a campus and people graduate. And sometimes the club doesn't survive, and sometimes the club does survive, and who's keeping all that information up to date? Well, a lot of it is, like I said, going to be crowdsourced of whoever's in charge of the club. We are asking, kindly put your information in here. If something changes, please let us know, because if this grows as big as we're hoping, it's going to be very, very difficult to keep track of everything. All the different events that are happening, all the different clubs that pop up or disappear, or change locations, or whatever. That's something that it's going to take a lot of work, and we know that. We know it's not going to be. We're going to have all the information on every club in the world by tomorrow afternoon. That's just not going to happen, and it's constantly going to need to be updated and changed. But that's why we're
Actually,
all on board. What?
You touched upon one thing before I forget about it, is the fact that there will also be a centralized calendar. The idea being is that every event, because you all know it, you want to go to different events, you have no idea when it's happening, or you find out after it's happened. The idea being of having a centralized calendar where you can actually post your event on that calendar. And that way, it's not just have to track down 4 or 7 different places or hope someone tells you. You as a group can post that. We'll post all the relative ones. And for a lot of it, we can't make it to all events. And sometimes, I can make it to 2 or 3. But having that calendar throughout the whole year, you can then actually plan out your year, because we all know everyone's got jobs, never mind finances or locations trying to get to events.
Yeah, you have to pick. Not everyone can go to
where it is.
Not everyone can go to Endor. Not everyone can go to Ragnar Oktoberfest. Not everyone can make it to UMBC. But if it turns out there's an event a 2-hour drive from you, a smaller HVZ, that one you might be able to go to. But right now, you don't know about it. I mean, there could be HVZs within 2 hours of me, and I don't even know about it. And this is what I do. I have no idea if Evergreen has a club right now. I have no idea if WWU has a club right now. Because there's no central repository for that information. I would have to go track it down, see if there is someone in charge, see if it's up to date, see if they're allowing stuff. And yeah, I could do that. But I've already got a Nerf event every weekend of every month for the rest of the year. But not everybody does. Other people, they've got no events. They would love to know that there are, in fact, 5 events within driving distance of them. And there probably is. And if there isn't, I'll guarantee you there are enough people locally interested for someone to start it. But they need to have a way to do that. And this will give them all the tools of what do you need. For a lot of things, we've said that Facebook isn't the great option, but for a local club, it is still a good tool, but it's not a good advertising tool. Unless people know that you've got a Facebook group, they're probably not going to find it by accident. It's not like it's going to, show up on their stream all of a sudden. But if there was a website you could go to that would then link you to the Facebook group of the club that's in Cincinnati, then you could find the club in Cincinnati, as opposed to trolling through Facebook, hoping that you can find the club that's called itself Cincinnati Facebook, as opposed to something else. Cincinnati Nerf Club.
By the way, as we're talking, everyone, pay attention to what Derek says, because he touches on little points in addition to what we're talking about. So yeah, and if you're watching this after, just follow what Derek and Dart Sweep say, because they throw in pointers of stuff that Cap and I may have missed.
Yeah, like you said, the pro level stuff would be standardized, because that's the whole point of that, is to make an actual league like the NBA or the NBL, whatever. And for that to work, it has to be standardized. Everyone has to be playing by the same rules for the tournaments that it's running. You are perfectly capable of playing a completely different variant of baseball on your local baseball diamond in your free time if you feel like it, but you can't then go to a baseball tournament and expect them to play by your rules. He also did mention that, yes, you must having fun. Everyone must have fun, and that's just rule 0 for everywhere, or usually rule 1. Rule 0 is usually don't be a dick, followed by rule 1. Have fun. If you're not having fun, let's try to figure out why. Often it's
also to follow on that point, and I'm pretty sure about it because someone had asked me about the option of gatekeeping. Because this is a central repository of information, there's not like groups or venues where, much like other social medias where they can group chats going on and people can bully each other. There is no option for that anywhere on the site. It's just, here's information. This is how you connect to one another. So you don't have to worry about joining this and all of a sudden cliques forming or groups forming, because that's also something, if they somehow manage to manifest that in the group, I can pretty well assure you that we're going to wipe that stuff out. Because you know why? I love this thing and I don't need anybody messing with it. Do you understand that? I am a big on let's all have fun and play nice. And if you don't want to play nice, go
Go somewhere else. This isn't the hobby for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go
This
bully
isn't
somewhere
the
else,
place
man.
where clubs will be organized. This will be the place where you find out that there is a club and then go to the place where the club is organized, whether it's Discord or Facebook or however they're organizing their club. And yeah, I'm pretty sure there will be. I assume there's gonna be a Discord for this. I could be wrong.
There's a Discord. Go find the Discord. We are actually telling people that you go with the Discord. It's the World Foam Alliance Discord. You can go there. Many of us are in there all the time, so we'll answer questions. Now, understandably, we're all busy people, so we can't sit there and chat for you for hours and hours on end. Like, I know that'd be great, but I got a job and a side business, and then blah. Yeah, there's a lot going on, but we will happily answer questions as much as we can.
So, I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. So, are there any questions we can actually answer?
Link is worldfoamalliance.org.
Yep.
Derek, drop the link for the Discord if you can, or the name of it, please, or Andrew.
Yes, venues are something that's always the hardest part. The hardest part about getting an event going is having a place to hold it. Now, the good news is just about every town in America has a city park. Not every park will let you use it that way. You know, it's something you should talk to, go talk to Parks and Rec or City Hall or whoever you need to talk to ask, can we use this? Because some don't allow any kind of projectile launcher in their park for whatever reason. Some will, but you got to ask. It's always a good idea to talk to the local police so that if somebody says, there's people shooting people in the park, and they know that there's a Nerf war that day, their response might be slightly different. I've had the police called in some of my Nerf wars. We've had to call the police at some of our Nerf wars. But it's a crazy person. Harassing our players. It all got settled, as soon as the police walked up, their response was, oh, it's him. Like, oh, good. We're not going to have too much difficulty here. Yeah, it
wasn't me, for the record.
The sort of thing that would be on our, how to start a Nerf club. How to get your venue is going to be a big one. The advantage, again, of Nerf is that we can usually play in a city park, and city parks are free. Unless you reserve them, some of them may require a reservation fee. Indoor locations, they're definitely going to cost money. Private locations almost always cost money unless someone in your club owns property and has set up a thing on their property for some sort of... Who would do such a thing?
I tell you.
Yeah, venue is always the hardest. If you want an indoor air-conditioned location, that's not going to be free, almost certainly. But it also might. There might be some place that would actually let you, but you gotta look into it. It might entirely be that somebody was like, you know what, after hours, you're welcome to use our building. I've got kids and they will come and play, and so I will let you use our building because maybe they won't. Insurance is always going to be an issue, but that's another thing that is also going to be a resource available through WFA, is resources for how to actually start a club as a nonprofit or as an LLC so that you can actually get insurance, and that opens up so many venues. One, it gives you a way to actually collect funds legally to be able to pay for dues and to pay for insurance. And that there's a lot of venues that they won't let you play unless you have your own insurance. And they shouldn't let you play if you don't have your own insurance, because if you break something or hurt somebody, then it's on them. This is something that, a lot of our clubs, even Panic still is not an official, nonprofit or organization. We've been looking into it, but it takes a lot of work, and most of us have jobs and don't have the expertise. Well, now we have a way for you to get access to that expertise and be able to actually do it properly. which is a huge benefit to so many things. It has downsides. Once you're official, then there's rules that you have to follow that may make things harder. But again, the advantages almost certainly are going to outweigh it once you get to a certain size. If it's 5 guys in a park, yeah, it's 5 guys in a park. If it's 80 people wanting to host a big event, you're going to need event insurance. It's probably a good idea because eventually someone's going to get hurt or something's going to get broken, and then you're going to have an issue. But again, getting access to that information, yeah, that information is available, but if you don't know where to look, you don't know what questions to ask, you don't even know what things you don't know, there's currently no good resource for that. There's nobody centralizing that, organizing it, has that expertise, knows how to find that expertise, can make it readily available and easily digestible for anybody to go, oh yeah, here's the forms you need, here's the stuff you need. Fill out these boxes and check this and find 5 people willing to put their name on it. You know, sometimes it's really simple,
The fun
sometimes
stuff.
it's really complicated, but everything's complicated if you don't know how to do it.
Absolutely. And so, like, part of it, I think Derek just posted, it's called Wootson. That's the company that's going to be helping with that. One thing I wanted to touch upon is that with the buying, being able to buy tickets, being able to actually set up like GoFundMe's kind of in the actual WFA in your community group, where you can post like things to your group members saying, all right, we need X. Like, for example, let's say you have a group of 40, 50 people and you got to get new cover and you know everyone will love it, but you don't want to blatantly go, hey, can someone pay for it? You can actually set up like a fund me option within the community when you can say, this is what our goal is, it's for this. And then through the site, then people can donate to like achieve those goals in the community, especially if you got a group willing to share. And obviously they'd rather do it where they can see it instead of, yeah, just give me $20 next Friday and we'll make it happen. You know what I mean? It keeps people honest.
Yeah.
And it's also a better way of reaching your members. On the same token, which is going to be a fun option, and I've seen it because people ask me, many groups try to have raffles where they try to raise funds for their groups, where they give away blasters or other venues. Like a good example, I guess, is the one happening is Nerfing for Autism that happens in North Carolina, where they set up online raffles to sell stuff, and everything they make that day, they donate to the Autism Society in North Carolina. So through the WFA, there will be a raffle option where you can sell tickets. And the best thing of that is, it doesn't matter if they're in person or not, and it's a great way for who's actually sold tickets and to be able to sell it outside of the community or within the community and mean you don't have to be there for the event in case you can't be there, or if you got to leave early and you have no idea if you won. So one, it's to make sure you bought tickets so you can actually win, and two, it's a great way of raising money. So part of what we're going to do, and Derek and I talked about earlier today, and we'll finalize details later, because this portion of the website will roll out, I think it was in September to October. And when that happens, we're probably just going to do a WFA-wide raffle. And it'll be something small, like 50 cents or a buck a ticket. And I'm probably going to give away, you know what? I'm probably going to make some giant master key, and we'll do that. We'll do a raffle. People can buy raffle tickets. And if you win, I'm sending you a master key. Any funds that are raised from that will probably just go back into continuing the growth of WFA. It's not going in my pocket. It's not going in Captain's pocket. It's not going in Derek's pocket. But the big thing for that is kind of showing what
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, because as we said, resources are one of the things that are shortcoming. And yes, you can start a club with very, very little, but eventually you're going to want more stuff. You're going to want cover. You're going to want a megaphone. You're going to want, team flags. You're going to want, scoring buckets. You're going to want stuff. And this is a way that can be done without necessarily having to collect dues. Because some people don't have it to give, and other people have more than enough to give. And this way that can be organized better than you just, putting a tip jar at your event and hoping people throw money in it. That is an option, of course, but this way it's perhaps more organized and more structured, and then people from other places can help. Anyone in the group, anybody in Waffle that wants to throw a buck towards another group getting their game admin box put together can do so.
there's actually also in that same link, I'm glad you mentioned that, there's actually also going to be a sponsorship option, meaning different groups there's going to be a function where you can go get sponsors, and not necessarily you have to hit up like Captain Xavier, Al the Geek, or someone else. Hey, can you sponsor my group? But much like the same venue when you think of kids sports teams, you know, when they go out and they find local people in their businesses and they'll like throw money at you. So you can actually do sponsorships that way for local companies, especially if you got people in your groups that have small businesses or other ways. It's a venue to set up where they'll get the online like kind of presence that they're actually sponsoring your group. And again, it doesn't have to be someone Nerf. It could be the family cleaners. It could be a guy that owns a pizza joint, but he just loves what you're doing and he decides to throw money at you.
The international Nerf equivalent of the Rotary Club.
Yes. So there'll be an option where you can actually go out and find sponsors for your club, and it doesn't have to be Nerf related at all, which is also great because then it also helps burger joint and say, man, we do Nerf groups and we're looking for sponsors. And suddenly it's like, shut up, you do that? I like that. And it doesn't have to be someone necessarily in the community, but gives you the option to raise money to help grow your group. And again, it's the exchange, right? It's a fantastic option. Otherwise, how are you going to do it? Like, I would have no idea how to go do that. Go knock on someone's door. Hey, man, I got a Nerf group. You want to sponsor me? What?
Yeah, that's weird. But when you didn't, again, have an international organization that's backing it, it's a little bit more like Pee Wee Baseball or, you know, the local little kids soccer league or whatever. But now it's Nerf, which, again, is considered safe and considered family friendly, and people are interested in that. So many people have kids, they probably have Nerf blasters. But they've got nowhere to play. They just lose all the darts, and then the blaster just sits in a box somewhere. Well, if you've got a club that has a bucket full of darts that everyone's allowed to draw from, like, show up with your blaster and have fun. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes, how it grows, what it leads into. I'm hoping that there's all kinds of resources that I'm hoping it'll help me with that will improve what I'm able to do as well, both with my channel, with being able to go to events and meet people and do stuff and help promote this concept and make my local Nerf wars better and help more clubs grow in this area so that we don't have to do absolutely everything at Borst ourselves. Yeah, I'm excited.
Perfect. So then again, worldfoamalliance.org. Go find a Discord again, World Foam Alliance as well. And there'll be more about it coming. This is just, well, this turned into a 40 minutes or 50-minute synopsis of what it is.
Yes.
But
let's talk about other stuff. Look, I got a new thing.
What do you got? He's got a thing. What is that thing?
Dart Zone sent me the Outlaw. It arrived yesterday. It's practically got my logo on the trigger. Look at that.
Wait,
quite,
what?
But it's pretty close.
What?
And I dig it.
That is. Look at that.
We have been wanting a high FPS hammer primed blaster forever. And anytime anybody reaches out to me from one of these companies and says, what do you think the community needs? I have always told them, give us a 100+ FPS hammer primed blaster. I've told it to Game Face, I told it to Dart Zone, I've told it to anybody who would ask, I've told it to Worker. And finally, they got it. It consistently hits around 120. And the prime is heavy, but not unreasonable. I have yet to find something I don't like about it, which is impressive. Now that's not true. They didn't put a loading channel on the left side, or on the right side. It's a distinctly right-handed blaster, but it's a revolver. There's only so much you can do about that. Like if you put a loading channel on this side, it wouldn't actually do you any good because the cylinder rotates away from the chamber, so you'd have to prime it 5 more times before it would actually... Anyway, I'm doing a review on it where I go into while I'm going to complain about it not being perfectly ambidextrous. I know it actually can't be. So there's that. This also arrived.
And it's not
it wasn't
orange.
supposed to arrive until December, and then it arrived yesterday, or Monday, and it's also pretty cool.
I'll be right back. I just got to take care of something. Keep talking about that.
It got mega sticky darts. Any comments? Anybody still actually watching this? The heat is for the birds. It is too warm where I am. Swamp Cat is a puddle. I'm sweating into a puddle. I don't like it. But, yeah. Question. Somebody asked me a question. What do you got? I've got this thing. I haven't taken it out of the box yet, but it has been sniffed. Can I? No. Swamp cat. There's a swamp cat. She's being silly. Hello? Is there anybody there? Did the chat crash? Al has disappeared. And, I've got the original one, too. With one of the original darts. Train! I don't know if you can actually hear the train through this thing.
Actually, yeah, we did earlier. Yeah, man. Don't you have a button where you make the train noise? I mean, what? Oops.
I don't, but I should. Meta, you have seeds in your tail. Do not attack me. I'm trying to get the stuff to your tail.
Oh, back to the outlaw, dude. Is it true? Yeah, it is. That you can pull the cylinder out without it being cocked?
Yeah. Because it doesn't actually, like, chamber anything. When you pull the trigger, the barrel comes back and seals with the cylinder. So that's how it's getting a better seal than most things. Yeah, it's not like the deuce where when you prime it,
yes,
it actually, there isn't an actual breach that goes through the cylinder.
Absolutely.
Which people keep asking if it's possible to make a magazine-fed hammer-primed blaster, and you would need to find a way to have a bolt that would actually chamber around, and that would be mechanically very difficult with a hammer-primed blaster. Not impossible. We have spaceships. I'm sure it's possible, but it would be difficult to get to work.
So what you're saying is we need to pose this question to NASA?
Yeah, I mean, I can think of a couple of things. Like you'd have to have the breech linked to the hammer, so when you primed it back, it opened the breech, and when the hammer then went forward, because like on this one, you prime it, but then the hammer returns. So if that hammer return brought your bolt closed, you could hypothetically do it. The trick would be that it would need to be the return spring would need to be heavy enough to actually push a dart and seal it into a barrel, and that would increase how hard it would be to prime, because you'd be fighting that return spring as well as the main spring, unless you could somehow mechanically disconnect one or use the energy from one for another thing. It would be an interesting engineering thing, and I would love to see somebody give it a go.
We have some brilliant people in this hobby, so I wouldn't doubt it.
There are some absolute geniuses out there. The latest blaster, the one that went live in my video today. In fact, he's in the chat, or he was in the chat at some point. This thing is a magazine-fed half-dart, mega half-dart blaster.
Dude.
Yeah, I'm being assaulted. So it takes mega half darts and then is magazine fed. And yeah, massive breach. What I'm still completely baffled by, I don't know how it actually works. He's sent diagrams and explained it, and I still have no idea what's going on. The barrel actually goes through the plunger.
What?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Wow.
So you're able to make it much more compact, because you don't have to have like the plunger back here, and you don't have to have it reversed like you see in like the Scamp, where in order to have that much power, it's got a reverse. You know, the plunger's down, or the plunger's up here, the barrel's down here, and it reverses the flow. No, this I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how it works, but the plunger is around the barrel. The barrel goes through the center of it.
Dude, that thing is like the Desert Eagle version of foam flinging.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I mean, the closest thing that exists to it is a Magnus, and the Magnus doesn't come close to it. This thing gets more like 100 and something FPS. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's more than 100 FPS with mega half darts. And if you use the Accu fakes, it shoots stupidly straight, which is just neat.
Yes,
It does
please.
have a scar barrel suppressory thing. Yeah, I dig it. The Ice Phoenix by Heatwave. He was in the comments. Is he still in the comments? Nobody's commenting. I'm wondering if something's gone wrong with the comments at this point.
No, people are commenting all kinds. It's you, man.
It must just be. Oh, I think it finally. Aha! It refreshed finally. How far behind am I? I don't even know.
Verily.
There he is. Yeah, Heatwave is still there. Yeah. Yes, but the suction cup megas would also work well. And Accu Strikes, but Accu Strikes are harder to get a hold of, and I'm a little bit leery to cut one of them down. Whereas when they went on ridiculous sale, I bought like 400 mega Accu fakes. They've just been sitting in a box until now. So, yeah, it's big, it's beefy. I dig it. I'm looking forward to seeing what else. One thing he was talking about was putting a stock and a pump grip, so you'd have a half dart magazine fed half dart mega carbine would actually be pretty wicked.
That would definitely be pretty wicked.
So, hey, Dart Zone, hey, you've gone all this half dart. Can we get some half megas? Let's make that an official thing.
That'd be so cool.
What's this about me being short? Who says I'm short?
You're not short. Well, pending. For a basketball team, yes. But we don't play basketball.
I mean, when you see me in a picture next to Coop, Aaron Esser, and Drac, yeah, I look short. But I also look like I outmass all three of them put together. Them skinny men.
Well, just picture me and you. Me and you are about the same height.
Yeah.
I can't remember who's
If you have me in
taller.
a picture next to PDK, I look like I'm a giant of a man. Because he is short. And also has the mass of my left leg. So... It's when you do videos on my range, because my range is on a hill, I always end up on the downhill side because I'm left-handed, and the other person ends up on the uphill side. So they're like a foot up the hill from me, and I look like a dwarf. Beard and all, just angry in the corner.
Dude, if you're that small, you would not be part of the Mega Double XLs.
Yeah, apparently this thing is also supposed to have Slamfire. Either I didn't get the Slamfire version, or mine just isn't working. It uses a catch that's different than anything I've ever seen. It's a rotating sear catch. The thing's brilliant. It's one of those feats of engineering that, despite everything I know about Nerf, I still haven't the foggiest idea what makes this thing work, and I just find that fabulous. I am a dwarf. I'm just a very tall dwarf.
Strong beard game.
Yeah, I'm like 5'10", 5'10 and a half in boots with heels.
I'm shrinking. I'm down to 5'11". I used to be short, just short of 6.
The trigger went on strike. Yeah, I'm short next to you, Judd. You're a mountain of a man.
Oh, is he? Oh, is he in there?
He is.
Nice.
Very true. Smaller
Yeah, that's
target
not
area.
fair.
No, I'm more in the Gimli school. There's decent elves out there. That was all just bad blood from many years ago. I did date an elf for a while. It didn't turn out well. So I mean, I also dated a ninja, and I'm a pirate. So yeah, I have issues. Is Udo short? I don't know. Now, I've never thought to measure Udo. Yeah, I'm 10 foot one on a tall enough ladder. FTL1, but half megas. I would love to see an FTL
Jeez.
chambered in just mega. I would love to see a mega FTL3.
So interesting thought. How long ago? How many years has it been since FDL closed up shop?
I don't know. I'm
4
very glad
years.
I
It
got
was
my FTL when I
pre-pandemic.
did, because I got one of the last ones.
Yeah, because you sit to think about it. It was pre-pandemic, so let's say it's been 4 years easy. Can
Yeah.
you imagine? 4 years later, they're still the premier thing. If they still existed, what kind of ridiculousness would exist today if
I
FDL never
wish that
closed
our
up shop?
timeline. I wish our timeline included the FDL4.
By now, we'd be at like FDL like 12.
Probably, and who knows what they could have done. We're starting. Only now are we starting to see blasters that can compete. With things like the Momentum, which was built for a different thing, so it's truly high power end. Things like the Pew Pew, but again, that's also a different concept. It has disadvantages and advantages to the FDL. The closest that I've seen, and I haven't seen it up close in person. I've seen it on the field. Is the FBF, SBF? Yeah,
Yep.
I'm on the
We
list
saw
to
it
get
at
one.
Pennsylvania Survival Fest.
Yeah, and there's somebody who has one locally. Silver Fox has one. So I've seen it, and I love it, and I can't wait to get mine. Just waiting on it from Gavin Fuzzy. That's
Oh,
probably the closest thing I've seen. But the
like
FDL
think about it.
3 were just so well engineered and so solid.
Like to play on that timeline, if they were still in the business, like you'd probably have an FDL that can shoot mega double XLs, and it'd be something amazing.
Yeah, or we'd have an FDL that took Nightingale mags in the grip.
Yeah,
A
it'd be.
true Nerf SMG. Just the things that we've lost throughout time. We also lost some great members. I mean, I only got to ever meet Tom from Containment Crew once, and it was just we could have been friends our whole life. How well we got along. I got to meet him it was Nerfing
Yeah.
for Autism actually, and we were just the grumpy old men hiding in the shade because it was summer in North Carolina or in one of the Carolinas. I don't remember which one, but it was way too warm, and
North.
we were old and tired, and we just sat in the shade and just were grumpy old men together, and it was great.
I'm gonna invest in like a misting tent or something like that, where you can sit in the shade and be misted and be grumpy and old and tired, but misted.
Yeah, there was someone at Afterworlds who was running around with a mist bottle, and a leaf blower, misting people and cooling them off, and it was fabulous.
Oh, by the way, shout out, yeah, for everyone that doesn't know or is going, APOC and BPOC happening this weekend up in Jersey. If you didn't know, go now. You guys still got time. I can't make it because my life is crazy. And my wife would actually like it if I was actually home for a weekend. So I cannot make it.
The Spirit, huh? I am not familiar with that one. Send me the info on that.
Oh, the Spirit, yeah, man. The Spirit's supposed to be pretty awesome, actually. Correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew. I think it was Justice out in Maryland. He made it. And right now the reviews in so far pretty good. Pretty damn good.
Cool.
Quote me if I'm wrong. That's okay. Like, I got no problem being wrong.
Yeah. I've also heard good things about the Gonk. I think it was the Gonk. It's a open source version of the Momentum, I believe, or a more open source version. I may have to try to build one just so that I can have. It looks like the Momentum. It's got kind of the performance of the Momentum. It's a little less refined, arguably. The designer has said, like, oh no, the Momentum is definitely the premier version. This is the affordable version. So I kind of want one just so I can dual wield because I like dual wielding. And And I
Well,
definitely
yeah.
can't justify paying another amount of money.
Oh yeah, so then I got the new X Shot. I think. Well, I finally ordered the Rage Fire, and that's coming. I think this Thursday, and then I'm gonna see what I can mount that thing to, just because why not? The Rage Fire, the X Shot minigun.
Oh, yeah. I have not heard. I'm really kind of surprised that X-Shot didn't reach out to me about that line. Yeah. They also didn't
What's up
reach
with
out to me about their
that?
last minigun. You'd think they don't know that I have the minigun, but apparently not.
Maybe, maybe that's why they want to send it to you, because they know this is cool. But then my minigun.
That's fair. That is fair. Yeah, the Mjolnir is another awesome project, the open source version of the Pew Pew. But since I already have two Pew Pews, I don't need another one.
Oh, there we go. Dart Sweep has verified who made the spirit.
Wonder Boy from MDFA.
Maryland Foam Alliance.
Currently available online. Similar performance to the Momentum. Sounds like a junk or a gonk. I think it's gonk.
I don't
Send me a
know.
link. You got my deets. Send me the thing.
Stuff. Oh, but then I got this one. This
got a
one is
Momentum.
definitely more gimmicky. Of course you do.
What do you got? Oh, yeah. You've
It's
got a
more
gizmo.
gimmicky.
Show off your gizmo.
I
What
do.
the actual cronk?
X Shot Insanity. I can't remember which one this one is, but that is a 72 round. I guess you can't call it the drum cylinder thing, but yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
technically that's a cylinder. That's wacky.
Yeah,
I dig it.
it is. It is. You know what's awesome about this too? Because I was wondering about how to put this in, and it's pretty easy. The release is right up here. Comes off. So it could also be jewelry if you
Or
wanted
you could
to.
get your hands on another one to make a quick
Instead
reload.
of. Yes, exactly. And I guess if a new form of bandoliers, if you don't like the other ones, so you can always use this. And what I like about this, the cylinder comes in 4 pieces, and it does come apart. So the 4 pieces kind of click in one another.
Cool.
And again, performance is nothing spectacular, but let's face it, this is just ridiculously fun.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about the Insanity line is they decided, let's get weird. And I like that they made them all attach. We haven't had a whole system of blasters designed to attach in a while since the old Busby Ultimate
Let's
line.
see. Yeah, slams fires. Is that loud? That felt loud.
When are we getting another Ire upgrade video? Every time somebody asks that, I delay it another month. So far, y'all have delayed it 3 years.
At least the one thing of this thing, as weird as it is, especially if you're doing a stock round or like a variation on an awful round, that's
People underestimate capacity sometimes.
actually, you know what? You up the performance on that at about 105, 110. That might not be bad for an HVZ. As long as you don't have ammo restrictions.
Well, quite often revolvers are exempt. It's like they limit magazines, not revolvers. Because they don't expect someone to have a revolver that's that silly.
This is true. This is technically a revolver. Oh. Yeah, you got to pop one open and see if you can what you can make it, because I think we have a new fun HVZ.
Boomstick. How about another drain blaster? I actually do. I have a build I want to do with a drain blaster, and then I have a build I want to do with something that makes a drain blaster look like a party popper. Yeah, somebody mentioned the Moab. I got to play with the Moab. I was in the Moab video. always hilarious when people, have you seen Walcomb's Moab? I'm like, I'm in the video.
Allegedly. It could have been a guy like me just wearing your shirt. We can't confirm.
It's true. It could have been anybody.
Nor deny.
Deplorable.
That's right.
Full bearings on the poor thing. It was a beautiful day.
See, for example, you are apparently Captain Xavier. Yeah, clearly look.
Yeah.
I got the shirt and I got an orange blaster. So like, who's lying here?
Today.
See, who's lying here?
Wait for it. I've got a really fancy painted MacGuffin.
Is this where we finally come clean and tell people that we're actually each other? We've been lying to them all these years.
Switched places.
That's right. We have decided.
Post-apocalyptic bullpup.
That thing is cool, man.
I have printed the cage. I need to get around to doing the upgrade.
Nice.
What's going on in the comments?
By the way, I'm working on a house outside. This thing is great for killing wasps.
Oh, I use.
Especially when they
what do I
land.
use? I use my miscreant to kill spiders. I have named my miscreant Sting.
Nice. Love it. What a Captain Mini. I am not a clone. We just switched places. Don't you watch better movies than clones? Come on.
Yeah, I actually franchised the whole Captain Xavier thing back in my medieval days. There was another Captain Xavier who showed up to an event from another organization. So there were 2 Captain Xaviers. And everyone was terribly confused. We didn't look anything alike, even remotely. But it led to some shenanigans, which were fun.
That is fun.
He was also a knight. And there was another guy. So there were for the knights list, a rapier tournament. They'd taken so long with the lower list tournament that there was like 10 minutes left for the knights list tournament, and there were only the 3 of us. So they said, okay, let's just have you all 3 go out. Last man standing wins. So we all went out, and we've got our rapiers. We're eyeing each other. We're circling for like a couple of minutes. Nobody did anything but just circle and talk smack. And then finally, one of the guys made an attack. I parried with one hand, stabbed him with the other. At that exact moment, the other guy came at me. So I took the sword that I'd stabbed the first guy with, brought it back, and a parry got him and stabbed this guy. So 5 minutes of circling and talking smack and 3 seconds of action, and the tournament was over. It was so beautifully cinematic. And nobody got it on video, of course. It was gorgeous. But then I kept getting called up in court, ending court, for various reasons. I won like the archery tournament and an arts and science tournament and a rapier tournament, and I used to win all this stuff. And so they kept having to call me up, and but they just called Captain Xavier, but there were 2 Captain Xaviers, and we're standing next to each other in the back of court, and so every time they called name, like, what? Him? Me, or him? Me. What? Him? Me? And they decided that I was the evil one.
Oh.
For good reasons. I had shot the king in the back, literally, with an arrow in that battle, I think. It might have been a different battle, but I'd shot the king in the back at some point. And so I got to be the evil one. No, this is a group called the Empire of Adria. It broke away from the SCA many, many years ago. And so when I got called into court as the evil one, some smartass in the audience started humming the Imperial March, and everyone picked it up. So I got to go into court with my big black cloak flowing to the Imperial March and get given my award. Just like, it's fun being me sometimes.
See, now that is cool. That is awesome.
The good old days.
They are.
Yeah.
By the way, if anyone is
back into that someday, just because hitting people with a sword was very cathartic, very therapeutic. What do we got? What's going on in the comments? Who's talking about what?
No, I was going to let you relish in that moment for a little bit longer. Oh, just in general, I wanted to sell in case. Um, we went on, and if you're late to, we went on for about a good 50 minutes about World Foam Alliance. Just this is over, and they posted just so we don't rehash it all again. You can all go back and see everything that we talked about for the World Foam Alliance that we're both a part of. Now, moving on. Questions, comments, thoughts?
Do you have a Star Wars blaster? I got lots of Star Wars blasters. I got the Boba Fett one. I've got one of the Mandalorian ones. I got a whole bin full of Star Wars blasters.
I think the better question: which Star Wars blaster do you not have?
I don't have the rival Stormtrooper blaster.
No, I got one of those, man. When it went on sale at Best Buy, I got it for like $30, I think.
I don't have the expensive version of the Mandalorian disruptor thing. I got the cheap one.
Oh, I got that one was on sale for $54 on Amazon. Oh, and then also World Foam Alliance. If you have questions, there is a Discord. World Foam Alliance Discord. Go there, and we will answer many questions as well.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the Omnia as well. Supposedly they're sending it to me. It hasn't arrived. These ones were sent earlier, so I got the Thunderbolt and the Outlaw arrived. I need me a second Outlaw because I want to dual wield. So hopefully they will be.
I can't wait to paint those. Oh, someone asked.
Yeah.
The one I had, it was the X-Shot Insanity line, the one which we've now deemed a giant revolver. Whatever the name of this one is.
Definitely giant
Yes.
revolver.
Yes, the giant revolver. So it's Revolver Day, Outlaw or this thing. This one is definitely not Hammer Prime. Yeah, I'm looking forward to painting up a lot of Outlaws because, yeah, that's going to be fun.
It's a svelte looking one.
It
They
is.
done good. They done good. We'll see what they come out with next. Mad Mega Barrel. I think it's
Cordell, what's shaking, brother? It is the Infinity Clip.
How much love for her do we need to show for Swamp Cat to become your official channel mascot? You need to send her the appropriate hats. Clearly, we need to have matching hats. And she will be. I don't know. She's still partly feral, so I don't know. She's not one for sitting still and snuggling. She's more for assaulting things. She's currently guarding the door because a little black and white kitten tried to get in. And she's very territorial.
Where'd the black and white kitten come from?
Probably the swamp.
Oh.
And that's where Swamp Cat came from. That's why she's called Swamp Cat. Because there were a bunch of feral cats living down in the swampy area on my property, and I wanted a shop cat to keep the vermin down, and so I made a bed and started putting out food, and she was the one who took the bait.
Is what it is.
Yeah, eventually she decided, you know what? I want to come in the house. So she came in the house. Like, well, okay, I better get litter and a food dish and all of that. So I went and I got that. Housebreaking her took all of 5 seconds of me showing her, here is the cat litter. She put one foot in it, looked at it, and coming and gave me this look like, yeah, all right, fine. And then she never uses it. She prefers to go outside. In the neighbor's rose bush, apparently. She rarely ever uses the litter box in my house, but she's never used something other than the litter box in my house that I've ever discovered, so she's very well behaved, other than licking my head at 3 a.m.
Well, yeah.
Favorite magnetic holster? Is there more than one magnetic holster?
Train?
I'd show you the cat, but she's wandered off. Well, actually, she's over by the door, but you wouldn't be able to see her very well. Actually, I wonder. Does that... Will that switch? I don't think it will. It will.
Yeah, it will.
Can you see her? She's the black spot right in the middle, right by the door. That's...
Yep, see it.
It's a mess over there right now. The flowers will grow. My blackberries are...
Can you throw the link for the... Oh, just, if you don't mind, at the end of it, throw the link for the Discord in the description after.
I only have the one cat. Swamp Cat's the only one that stayed. There are other cats around the neighborhood. It's a small town on the edge of the wilderness, so there's lots of feral cats. But yeah, favorite gear and equipment? The smart gun and its armor and support arm. That just never gets old. Every time I put that on, it's just it's so cool. How do you feel about the practicality of stringers? They're actually remarkably functional. There are some pretty cool ones out there, and if you can get them tuned up right, they're accurate, they're silent. That's the real advantage, is they are quiet.
Thanks, Derek.
Favorite ammo type? Titan rockets. Well, Lotus is arguably just holster. As in, the standards are the same, like the distances, the parts it uses are the same. It's just they had a slightly different mounting system, but I like that they standardized to the two different sizes, the smaller size that are closer together and the larger ones that are farther apart. I like that. I'm not in Texas. I live in Washington.
You're nowhere near Texas.
I was not familiar with the Armstrong ACC. Are they compatible with holster and Lotus? Or is it just a matter of different mountings, different attachments? What's the difference? Because the only one I have, I've got a pair of Lotus ones that, like I said, are also compatible with holster, that were specifically intended for my pew-pews, but they will also work on anything that has those attachments, which I now have a couple of blasters that use it. Oh, I'm kind of stalking something. And then I have the smaller setup on my Photon. The Photon has the smaller one, and then has the smaller mounting, and it's just a belt plate one as opposed to a drop leg holster. It is too warm outside. Swarmcat is hiding in the shade. Favorite
Smart
modded
cat.
blaster from each of your favorite creators?
Your smart gun is mine. Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Wallcom has a couple. Oh, the deleter. Wallcom's deleter was an amazing build. I got to do the wiring for it, and it took hours. But the fact that it would dump two 18-round mags in slightly more than a second is ridiculous. And the body work on that was incredible. Yeah, I did wear it in Texas, but no, the beautiful thing about the smart gun is the way the arm works is the whole system is really weightless and really quite comfortable. I mean, I used to wear much heavier armor than that fighting in 100-degree heat. The smart gun is so very comfortable comparatively.
And you can sit in the shade with it and be grumpy off to the side.
Yep, I got to use it at Afterworlds, and by some miracle, it lasted the whole weekend. And I'd only got it working again like 2 days before and had put like 10 rounds through it as a test. I'm like, okay, hopefully it works all weekend. Let's go. then
Actually,
it did.
yeah, you
And
were
what's
working on
weird
it when
is I
you.
don't. Yeah, I was working on it on a stream.
Yeah, while we were here.
And I got it working, and I'm still not entirely sure how. Like, I'm fairly certain what I did shouldn't work, but it does, and I quit asking questions.
Don't question it. Just go with it. Just go with it. Pray it lasts.
That's not how that's supposed to. It made me question some fundamental things I understand about MOSFET boards, which might be a good thing because it might mean, oh, that's how I can actually make a MOSFET board do what I need it to do, because it wasn't. It wasn't doing what it was
Right?
supposed to do.
Two big questions. One, is it working? Two, is it smoking? No, so we're good.
Oh, the deleter. I have it. He was working on the shell for a long time because the integration that he did, the shell work of the two hyperfires side by side with a single centered grip, and the battery housing and all that was beautiful, beautiful work. Really, really clean integration. And then the wiring, he brought the thing over to me and was like, "I need to have this done by tomorrow," and I just my brain is fried. Can you help? And you're like, yeah. So much cussing. I invented swear words to wire that thing, but we got it working, and I've gotten lit up by it, and it's just a wall of darts just appears, and there is no dodging. It's like 36 darts are coming at you within the space of a second. Just back. Like, I'm dead. But I don't know how long he was working on it. He got done dirty on that one. There was drama.
No, thank you.
I've got the shirt.
Because everybody
I have
loves
a
drama.
deleter shirt that says "delete this" with the deleter. That's how much I like that blaster. Oh, cool. Qualcomm is good people. Pickles.
I've only talked to him briefly,
What?
but it's also because he lives like across the country, so.
Yeah. My chat freeze up again.
No, you're good.
Is the last one "You're Just Magic"?
No, there's a couple after that.
Well, then my chat has frozen up again.
Then your chat has frozen up somewhat.
There we go. Yeah. See, as I understand it, from what little research I have done into MOSFETs, we genuinely don't know why they work. We just know how they work, and we quit asking questions. Like, there's a specific use for MOSFETs, and it's not to be an electric switch. It's just someone discovered that if you put a wire here and a wire here and put energy here, it acted like a switch. We don't know why. We don't. It's one of those, you know what? Whatever. It works.
Just does. It just is.
And it's definitely magic to me because I don't have the first idea on how those things work. But I like the little boards where you put the power in here and the power comes out here and you have the two wires and you connect them and whoop, it flips. I can handle that. But
And
I
that's
don't
where it ends.
know how I got the one that's in there working because it shouldn't. I don't think. I couldn't get it to work. I got it like the way it was working the first time I built it. I got it working in one particular way. And then when I went to rebuild it, I couldn't get it to do what it did before, even using all the original hardware. And again, it comes down to I think I have a fundamental misunderstanding of what the thing actually does. And yeah, I don't know, man. What's the one basic mod for a strife that you think everyone should do? The handle cap. The grip on the strife, I don't like it unless it has the handle cap, and with the handle cap, then it's fabulous. Also extended magnets.
Really?
Yeah, that was the complaint. The first time I ever picked up a strife, my complaint was I don't like that grip. It feels like it's going to fall out of your hand because the bottom part of the grip is missing. Because it has that sling loop. And then finally somebody came out with just a 3D printed cap that locks onto that lip and fills in the grip, and it makes me so happy.
That's never bothered me, but now I'm aware of it, so I'm curious to see how I react next time I pick one up.
You're not going to be able to pick up a strife with it. You're like, oh, he's right. It feels, oh, yeah. You need to get the 3D printed one, put it on there, and then you'll just be like, oh, that's so much nicer. And then you pick another one, and just be like, ew, I don't like it.
Thank you for now placing that in my head. And
yes, you're welcome.
Damn.
No extra charge. It's all part of the service.
I will send you a bill later.
I got
what?
a meeting at 7.
Yeah, you got to go.
Smart gun works off orc magic. Yes.
Well, yeah. Did you even eat dinner yet, dude?
What?
Did you even eat yet?
I think I had lunch today. I definitely haven't had dinner. It's not nearly late enough for dinner. Viable crush flywheel cage that tightens like a belt tensioner? A variable crush. Someone was actually pondering making a flywheel cage that was adjustable. You could just twist a dial and it would move the motors further or closer together. You'd need to have it machined. That 3D printing would never be able to hold up or be precise enough. But I think you could actually machine a flywheel cage that had variable distance, where you'd twist a dial and it would move them apart proportionally.
Dartsweep clearly is a fan of Band Blaster Banshee cages. They're pretty nice.
Good things about Band Blasters.
Absolutely.
I don't think I've built anything with them, but I've heard nothing but good stuff.
I haven't either, but we got them in Maryland, and they're pretty awesome.
Now that I know how to make brushed motors work, I'm a fan of brushed. They're lovely. They're a lot more complicated. A lot more complicated. You have to have a computer in your blaster to make them go. But they are snazzy, and I want to build more stuff with brushless motors.
You want to build stuff? No, come on.
Wrote the pseudocode for a select fire circuit for an Arduino, and I want to actually try it and see if my code is remotely correct. I thought I could build my own select fire kits, and that would be cool. I could make the smart gun select fire.
Come on now. Come on now.
That would be fun. You know, a select fire smart gun would be pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, you know what? Now that you said that,
I'd like it to have
it's not even awesome. Now it's necessary. You see what you've gone and done, man? I now have to put caps on stripes, and now you got to make a goddamn select fire smart gun. Otherwise, the world will not be good again.
Y'all need to see this. Swamp Cat is hunting a snake. Meow, get him. They're coming right for me. Get him. Get the snake.
Is she retreating?
No. She's got the snake. Meow. Yes, I see you've got a snake, madam. I see you've got the snake. Oh, did the snake bite you? Meow. It is not a poisonous. At least I hope it's not a poisonous snake.
Uh-oh.
She's not usually this noisy. I've never heard her make that much noise before.
I was gonna say she's never this vocal.
No, she's usually very, very quiet. Meow. Now everyone will be terrified. Is Swamp Cat okay? Has the snake hurt her? I'm going to take a look at the snake. Can anyone identify this? It just looks like a garter snake. Anybody? Anybody identify the snake?
Yeah, she's not happy.
She does like murdering snakes, though.
But not this one.
Apparently. Anybody? Anybody out there know anything about snakes? He's coming right for me. Save me, Swamp Cat. Rescue me. I'm dubious of this snake now.
Is this where we
look like a snake? I have a rake.
Is this where we do the first firing test of the outlaw and a snake? Outlaw versus snake, part 1.
Oh, Swamp Cat's gonna get him. Oh. Now it's the Swamp Cat kills a snake hour.
I'd like to formally apologize for not having some kind of animal with me to kill another animal.
Yep.
Is she hanging out with the snake? Is she pretending like if she doesn't pay attention to me?
Making a run for it. Oh, no.
There it is. Oh, oh. She just-
He's trying to escape under my desk, but Swamp Cat's having none of it.
No. This is why you don't need cable or Netflix. You have a cat and snakes.
True, we do need the Mortal Kombat theme playing.
So does this mean when she finally is victorious, we need to play the Imperial March?
Sure. Let's take a look at this snake. It's definitely not a rattlesnake. And as far as I know, that's the only poisonous snake in the Pacific Northwest. I could be wrong.
Or somebody's pet?
Snake, maybe a bull snake. I get
Then
lots
again,
of
if it was
snakes in my
Florida,
yard. Anytime I mow my lawn, I kill at least one snake and feel bad about it.
it's not like you live in Florida where everyone's venomous snakes have escaped their houses and now can be found in everyone's backyards. Will Swamp Cat be disappointed
I'm
if you
friends
dispose
with
of the
Brett.
snake?
Brett used to come here to my arena and play. He was here up in the Pacific Northwest. He used to be in charge of the club until he moved back to California. So, yeah, Derek, if you want to reach out to me, I can put you in touch with Brett. He did wear a beret.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mr. Snick. You're on your own.
And on that note,
This is why I feed Swamp Cat. I have not seen a vermin in my shop since she came here. She even eats the spiders in here.
She is just a force.
Which, the very brief time where she was away having her babies, I'm sitting here in my shop minding my own business, and a rat walks right out into the middle of my shop. You're like, where is Swamp Cat when I need her? And then I realized that the reason I'd never seen a rat in here or a mouse in here was because Swamp Cat has declared this her territory.
Yes, absolutely.
She brought me a mole once. I've got moles on my property.
Oh, wow.
Are we going to get Xavier branded upgrade kits? Probably not anytime soon. I don't have the manufacturing. We do have brown recluses, hobo spiders, and black widows, but I've never seen a black widow on my property yet. I've probably seen a brown recluse or a hobo spider, but mostly I get house spiders, big ones. They die.
Or Swamp Cat eats them.
Both moles and voles. She has brought me a vole, and she did bring me a dead mole. Birds too. She likes to hunt birds. Very annoyingly, there are birds that have built a nest on the top of my chimney and keep falling down into my fireplace. And then they meet Swamp Cat coming the other way, and she's very effective at taking them right out of the air. It is amazing to watch. He's just watching this snake.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Do we got to wrap it up because you gotta bail?
Yeah, I got that meeting in 10 minutes, so I should probably wrap it. Okay, so what do we got? Ever used a salt bug blaster? I have one around here somewhere that I tried to put K26 in. Turns out it can't because it stock spring is way heavier than a K26.
Huge crows. Wow. Don't mess around, man.
Swamp cat will occasionally hunt the squirrels, but I've never seen her catch one. She's very annoyed that I occasionally get possums on my porch. She does not like them.
She is something else, man.
Yep. Yeah, when I went to Europe the first time, I was kind of worried because she'd gotten kind of domesticated. I was feeding her every day and, all of that. And I was going to go away for 2 weeks. Is she going to be okay? And as I'm packing and fretting about this, she goes trotting by with a snake in her mouth. I'm like, yeah, she's going to be fine. And she was. She was very grumpy with me for a week after I got back. I've never seen her hunt rabbits, but I do have rabbits around here. I've seen a bunny or two. And deer. I have deer that come into my yard and nibble on my pears.
She hasn't tried to hunt the deer yet, has she?
No, not that I've seen.
What?
I also
Why do I
have,
pick?
on one occasion, only once, I've heard a wild boar down in my swamp, and that is terrifying.
Yes.
These things sound like orcs.
I was gonna say that's yeah, it was a talon claw. Although, why do I feel like one day you're gonna look out your window, you're gonna see a deer running across your yard with swamp cats like paws, like like this, and it's just
Probably.
running.
It's like, I'll get him! Venison for dinner!
Yes, it was an orange talon claw. I've still got to distress it and make it even more fun than it is. The orange just completes the whole theme of like a mixed up world today. So.
What's the coolest project I've seen from a fan? And will you bring back featured fan builds? No, featured fan builds was taken over by Andy Verk, who made and sent me this.
Yep.
Andy Work has his own channel. He now does the featured fan builds. He was gracious enough to take that over for me because I just couldn't do it anymore, and he was interested. Plus, he was in like every other episode. And the coolest stuff was probably some of his stuff. He has built some gorgeous stuff, weird integrations. Not much of an internal modder, but his external stuff is just gorgeous. And the storylines that he included with him. All right, so yeah, I do need to go because I do have a meeting in 8 minutes now. So this has been fun. I look forward to seeing how we port this over to the World Foam Alliance. They probably have. Hopefully, they'll get us better streaming tools. Like what's the one that stream? I don't remember what it's called anymore.
StreamYard or something like that.
StreamYard. That's the one. Like their logo's a duck, I think. StreamYard. Yeah, because then we could get multiple people in. We could get all of us Foam Alliance old men in here.
Absolutely, which we have to do because then they can explain some things better than we can.
Just blather about back in my day. I'm like, my day? I didn't get into Nerf until 2012.
Seriously.
Stampede
I'm just
was
saying.
my first blaster. That Stampede was my first blaster. Meow.
Mine was
Get
Retaliator
away. Oh yeah.
for now.
All right. I gotta go.
All right, everybody.
Just keep talking. Talk to you later.
Yes. See you later. Bye, everybody.
I will put links in the thing and the stuff and the places.
World Foam Alliance, Discord. Woo!
Yeah. Goodbye.
Bye.
The button. How do I make this? How do I turn this off? End.
There's the X.